My name is Joe Dela Cruz, and this will be my presentation on my information assurance plan for Across the States Bank. Starting with the table of contents, going over the things we'll be discussing. First will be the executive summary, key definitions, introduction, objectives, roles and responsibilities, critical assets, applications and resources, risk assessment, ongoing vulnerability assessment, risk reduction, incident response planning, business continuity and recovery, and then followed by the summary and conclusions. Starting with the executive summary, the main purpose of this is to establish a comprehensive information assurance plan that secures ASB's information systems against evolving cyber threats. The main goal behind this is to protect customer data, financial assets, and intellectual property. Not only that, but we want to guarantee compliance with regulatory frameworks such as the GLBA, PCI DSS, FFIEC, NIST, and CSF. And lastly, we want to go ahead and strengthen protection against cyber attacks, insider threats, and system disruptions. Now, this can be done by implementing alert defense, as well as conducting risk assessments and vulnerability scans regularly, along with establishing a continuous improvement cycle with annual reviews and updates. So some of the key definitions you'll be hearing throughout this presentation are as followed. The first one will be information assurance, which is guaranteeing the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data and IT systems. The next one is risk assessment, which is a systematic process of identifying, analyzing, and evaluating threats, vulnerabilities, and impacts. Another one you'll be hearing is business continuity, which is the ability to continue critical business functions during and after a disruption. You'll also hear incident response, which is a coordinated approach to addressing and managing the aftermath of a security breach or a cyber attack. And lastly will be vulnerability management, which is a continuous process of identifying, evaluating, prioritizing, and fixing any security weaknesses. So a little bit about ASB. We're a mid-sized financial institution out in North Carolina. We offer online banking, payment processing, and financial services to clients across multiple states. So why will we need an information assurance plan? Well, financial institutions are high-value targets for cybercrime, and there's been an increase in threats for ransomware, phishing, and insider risk. So we want to make sure we combat this. So with that being said, the main objective of this is to protect critical assets such as financial systems, customer data, along with the infrastructure, along with following the compliance of any cybersecurity framework and guidelines. We also want to be able to educate employees and partners on security policies and responsibilities while maintaining business continuity and disaster recovery capabilities if anything were to happen. Some roles and responsibilities, starting at the top, would be executive leadership to provide strategic direction, allocate resources, and enforce policies. We also need a security team to conduct monitoring, vulnerability management, incident response, and compliance reporting. Then we have the IT operations team to manage infrastructure, patch systems, and maintain the backups. After that, it would be risk management and compliance, as that would mean performing audits, ensuring the regulations are being followed, and managing third-party risk. We also have employees and contractors who should follow strict security policies and report any suspicious activity. Lastly, would be the incident response team, as they would handle the rapid detection, containment, eradication, recovery, and post-incident review. So now we have the critical assets, applications, and resources. The first one is the core banking system, which is the customer database along with any transaction processing systems that are in place. We have the IT infrastructure, which is data centers, servers, virtualization platforms, and network equipment. Then we have our applications and platforms, which handle any online banking portals, mobile apps, and internal financial applications. And lastly would be human resources, which would be our employees, contractors, and partners with access to sensitive data. And this is critical for insider threat prevention and security culture. For our risk assessment, the threats that we face are external, such as ransomware, phishing, DDoS attacks, and internal, such as insider threats, employee negligence, or unauthorized access. So, unable to find any vulnerabilities, it's required that we have regular network scans through the use of Nmap, OpenVAS, or Nessus, along with penetration testing on key assets such as online banking portals and payment systems. Once all this is done, we're going to do a risk evaluation to determine the likelihood and impact. And from there, we're going to prioritize high risk, such as data breaches and financial fraud. So all of this allows for secure card handled data and enforces strong encryption to make sure that we're following compliance standards. A one-time risk assessment isn't enough, as we'll need ongoing vulnerability assessment. As mentioned before, we do automated scannings, and this can be done weekly, and we can also use Splunk for real-time monitoring. If we come across anything, we can use patch management for monthly updates, and any critical vulnerabilities we patch within 24 to 72 hours. When it comes to managing the configuration, we can go ahead and do regular auditing of firewalls, IDS/IPS and endpoint configurations, and lastly, we can do quarterly simulated attacks to test detection and response to make sure that we're always ready for anything that may come up. In order to combat all of this, we need to make sure that risk reduction is low as possible. So we could go ahead and implement firewalls, endpoint detection, network segmentation, and zero trust architecture, along with strong encryption. Not only that, but administrative controls allow for security policies such as password management, access control, and data handling. Another thing is user awareness, annual security awareness training for all staff to make sure everyone's up to date. And then lastly, as mentioned before, the continuous monitoring and auditing to make sure nothing arises without us knowing. If anything were to happen, we want to make sure we have an incident response and plan. So some of the roles would be the incident manager, which coordinates the response, the technical team for forensics patching and system restoration, our communications officer for internal and or external messaging, and then lastly, our legal and compliance advisor reporting obligations and regulatory adherence. So the main objective is to make sure that even if anything were to happen, the business would still be able to continue. So we'd have to find any critical services such as transaction processing and online banking would be the main focus. So we could have off-site backups, or we could have disaster recovery sites. Some of that would be cloud-based for any essential services. When it comes to the recovery time, 4 hours for core banking services and 30 minutes for customer transactions. And once more, annual testing along with tabletop exercises with executives to make sure that we're all up to date. Now, all of this will be implemented in a 4-phase approach. The first phase is policy development and approval. Phase number 2 is technology development, such as our firewalls, our SIEM and backups. Phase 3 is training and awareness rollout, and phase 4 is testing and evaluation. So to ensure that this is sustainable, we're going to continue with our ongoing risk assessments and patch management and continuous improvement through lessons learned after accidents. Now we have reached the summary and our conclusions. So the main key takeaway would be information assurance guarantees trust in ASB services by protecting confidentiality, integrity, and availability. A quality IAP combines policies, people, technology, and processing. Continuous monitoring, regular assessments, and incident preparedness are critical. So in conclusion, by adopting this information assurance plan, ASB will strengthen its defenses, meet regulatory requirements, and protect customer trust, allowing for long-term resilience in today's growing cyber landscape. Thank you for watching my presentation.